But this is going to be basically a 10 ideas that should help anybody listening to this prepare and equip themselves for the world that we're moving into, for the decentralized, very high tech world that we're moving into. So this was based on a tweet that I found on X from Not That Elon. And I basically took this information that he or she had and I kind of made it into my own, and I made it a little bit more Bitcoin focused. And again, this is not just applicable for people who are 17. I think that this is applicable for anybody who sees what's coming here and wants to take advantage of it and sees, I guess, the opportunity of what's coming. So this is it. I had a good chat with my kid around the campfire last night, and it got me thinking about what I'd do if I were 17 and starting now. And so here we go. So I'm just going to buzz through these quickly, and then I'm going to talk about some of the ones that I made and changed a little bit. So number one, stack Bitcoin like it's your religion. Number two, pick one weird niche and become the king of it. Number three, treat AI like your free co-founder. Number four, create under your real name and a pseudonym. Five, sell something, anything early. Six, learn how to speak in rooms that weren't built for you. Seven, take absurdly good care of your body. Eight, get off platforms and build your own. Nine, never ask permission to play the game. And number 10, write your own user manual. So I absolutely love this. It says the too long didn't read for all the youngsters reading this. Nobody's coming to save you. It's time to write your own rules. So that's what we're going to share here. I'm going to share my version of this. So let me just make sure that this is a little bit more readable for us here. So the first one, we're going to dial in a little bit here. The first one is stack Bitcoin like it's your religion. So again, this is not for 17-year-olds. This is for every single person on the planet. Should be taking this very seriously. Not just some on the side. Make it a foundational life move. Learn about cold storage and guard those sats with everything you have. Because again, it doesn't matter how much Bitcoin you have in 2025. It's going to matter how much Bitcoin you have in 2035 and 2045. So the one thing that you should be focused on outside of accumulating as much as you can is learning how to protect that Bitcoin. Because you could have 50 Bitcoin right now, but if you're shortcutting and if you don't really understand how to protect that, and you have already exposed yourself or you don't really know about private key management, that kind of stuff, that 50 Bitcoin isn't going to survive. You're not going to have access to that in 10 years, and it's basically meaningless. So just as important as getting Bitcoin is protecting that Bitcoin. And it says you're front running the collapse of fiat and betting on the only horse that can run on broken terrain. So it's number one. I would say it's the most important part of this list. Get it and protect it. So this was the one that I just made right before we started the thing here. But I took out there, sell, start selling, and I changed it to this because you should sell anything and everything. And I think that when most people would see that list, they'd think, well, I need to create a business. I need to create a product. I need to find something to sell to people. But I don't think that that's the case. I think the first place that you should start is just by looking around your own house. Like, just take a look around your house. Find things to sell. So not only are you going to be able to convert some of these things that you maybe haven't used in a year or two into Bitcoin, into cash, and then into Bitcoin, but you're also going to declutter your house. And the third thing that you're going to do there, which I think is arguably the most important part, is that you're going to learn how to sell things. You're going to find marketplaces. You're going to figure out how to take good pictures. You're going to figure out how to have descriptions, describe that product, deal with other people. You're going to learn a lot just from that whole experience there. So you could sell things online. You could have a garage sale, whatever that is, but sell anything and everything and convert that into Bitcoin, which will also help your number one in this list. So I would say find a mixture between selling products and selling your own stuff. So start with taking a look around your house, find some things that you can sell, and then use those skills to find a product that people want. It's not an easy thing. This is a quite difficult, if it was easy, everybody would do it. So this next one here, I'm trying to keep it kind of spaced out. Pick one weird niche and become the king of it. Don't chase what everyone's doing. Find something oddly specific, like historical restoration of Japanese katana blades or deep fake detection tech for courtroom evidence, and own it. You don't need a crowd, you need 1,000 people who think you're the only one who gets it. And if you can't find anything, focus on a few areas within Bitcoin and start diving deep. No one is going to care what Bitcoin is in a decade from now. In other words, if you're into Bitcoin and you don't really have any sort of interest that you would love to talk about this much, then find some areas within Bitcoin. That could be mining, that could be security, that could be onboarding businesses, that could be UTXO management, that could be anything. But dive into these different energy, like reaching out to like oil rigs, oil companies, converting them into Bitcoiners and attaching a Bitcoin mine to their rig. That could be selling Bitcoin to banks, like selling the idea of banks, getting a really good presentation, making connections within the banking industry, explaining why they need Bitcoin, why Bitcoin's the only thing that's going to keep them around. Find some areas within Bitcoin and dive deep into those. Don't focus on generalizing within Bitcoin. It's good to have. That's kind of where you want to start. But if you ever want to earn money from Bitcoin, you should be thinking about some different areas that interest you and kind of lean in on that. Sorry, we got these numbers are mixed up. I feel like James Altucher here. He always has numbers out of whack. I like James Altucher actually. So the second number 3 here, we'll call it number 4. Treat AI like your co-founder. Use it like a ruthless productivity machine. Build with it, learn to prompt engineer like a language whisperer, write faster, think sharper. AI won't replace you, it'll replace the dude who doesn't know how to use it. That's a great point. Now is the time to be testing and learning. Download every single AI app that you can find and figure out what works best for what. So for example, I'm currently using about 3 or 4 of them. I have Claude for like a conversation. If I'm trying to generate ideas, I have Perplexity for like more current stuff, like more like a Google search. And then I have Venice AI, and I'm going to start using a couple other ones for images. So each one kind of has its different trade-offs. Each one does something better than the other one. So try them all. Try as many as you can and just try them. See what works best for whatever you need. Where's a good place to learn about AI? I'd say YouTube. YouTube and just trial and error. You're not going to be able to take it just like Bitcoin. You're not going to be able to take a 2-week course and understand Bitcoin. This is something that you have to dive deep into. You have to use, and it's going to take time for you to really understand the prompts, what works, what apps work. There's a lot to know there. So start today. And this is the part that I wanted to add myself. And it was actually a conversation I was having with Joe last night. And we were talking about channels and this kind of stuff. And I said, authenticity and integrity. That's going to be like the new AI. And I think that it is. So not only learning to use the artificial intelligence AI to help power whatever you're doing, to make you more productive, to be, generate ideas, to automate some aspects of your life, but also focus on your own AI. And to me, that is authenticity and integrity. Robots will replace most jobs, but humans will always be in demand. Face-to-face interaction will never become obsolete. So with authenticity, be exactly who you are and be unapologetic about it. Never apologize for being you. Never apologize to anybody. I don't think you've ever heard me say, oh, maybe I have, just because I'm Canadian. But I'm never going to apologize for talking about something or saying something because that's what popped into my brain. That is me. And if you don't like it, GTFO. Integrity. The only thing besides Bitcoin that you can truly own. Your own integrity. Your word. Keeping your word. Building and maintaining trust will be absolutely critical in a world without middlemen. So think about that. That's where middlemen have basically made a living, is because people don't trust other people, or they didn't. So the middleman there would be is there to keep both sides honest. But if you understand Bitcoin, it's a peer-to-peer cash, electronic cash, which means peer-to-peer means there's no middleman. So you have to build your own trust. That's up to you. With no middleman, you have to find, and it takes time. It takes some effort, but it is the most important thing, I think, in the world that we're moving into. So say what you mean and do what you say. Authenticity and integrity. It's an important one. This was one that I created myself into this list. Number 5. 54, whatever. So let's get rid of this. This is the one I took out. So what is this? 6. These are way out of whack. Anyways, take absurdly good care of your body. Lift, train, try to sweat every single day, or at least 80% of the days. I think if you use that rule, whenever people try to start doing things, whether that's working out, eating healthy, sleeping better, they get really discouraged if they miss a day or miss a couple days. But focus on just trying to do the 80%. If you can get 80%, if you can start working out 80% of the year, or eating healthy 80% of the day, or sleeping good 80% of the year, you're going to be in a much better place than you were. You don't have to. Perfection is the enemy of good here. Don't try to get 100% of anything. Just 80 is good. Avoid sugar, seed oils. Watch the sunrise. This has had a massive impact on my life lately. Watch the sunrise. Limit alcohol. Hard coming from me. I usually have, like, I don't know, per week, I would say I have about 3 or 4 beer with supper, or if I'm barbecuing or cutting the grass, whatever. And then some weekends it might have a little bit more, but try to limit it. That's the one thing I've learned the hard way, probably through the years, is that alcohol is just not good for you. And there's nothing good about alcohol, especially once you're like past 30. It's fine in your 20s, you can do some dumb shit, but that's probably the one thing I would change a little bit in my life, is I would just a little bit less. I still love beer, still love whiskey, still love all that stuff, but do it in moderation and limit it as much as you can, because you want to have a sharp and clear mind heading into this. Be extremely disciplined. Discipline equals freedom. And Bitcoin, keep in mind that Bitcoin is worthless. You can have as much Bitcoin as you want to, but if you don't have your health, it's gone. Irrelevant. The next one here is get off platforms and build your own. If you're using TikTok, Instagram, X, you're just renting space. And I actually posted about this on Nostr before seeing this, check this list today, or whenever it was. I said, imagine spending so much time and energy creating content, building an audience on a platform that somebody could take away from you at any moment without any notice. You could spend 5 years building an audience on YouTube or X or wherever, and because they're centralized, somebody could rug you there instantly and just take all that away from you without any explanation. It's idiotic. So you're renting space. It's digital squatting. Build your list, your email audience, your course, your app, you're writing your videos. Own the damn land that you're growing on. And they didn't mention this, but use Nostr. And don't just use it for posting, but use it to build trust. It's going to be a big part of our future here. Peer-to-peer. Nobody can take you off of Nostr. You understand Nostr? You're not renting any space there. You're owning that. Every post you make, you're owning that. You own your public key and your private key. And that's important, especially today. So get off the platforms, get onto Nostr, and start. I was making Arnie's making some noise out there. I think he's finally eating his brekkie. And the last one here, number 10. I don't even know what the number. I should fix these probably. So that was 54. I think that's supposed to be 5. This will be 6, 7. Oh, 8. Our favorite number. Perfect. So this is number 8. Write your own user manual. Who you are, what you believe, what you won't tolerate, what breaks you, what heals you. Lock it in while your identity's still molten. Most people live like open source projects that never shipped. Don't be that guy. It's true. We have the ability now with the technology, with the removal of gatekeepers, with the removal of middlemen, with the ability to send value to anybody else on the planet. This whole new world that we're moving into uh, is full of abundance. And so you don't have to pigeonhole yourself in anything. You can you can be who you are, you can stand for what you believe, you can do all this stuff, and it's so important. And the last thing I would say to that too is you have to know. You have to know who you are. You have to know what you believe in. You have to know what you won't tolerate. You have to know what breaks you and what heals you. You have to know that stuff before you can guard it. And actually, part of the proof of work course, that's kind of like the first month we've been doing is trying to figure that stuff out. Who we are, what we believe, what we want. Because if you don't know that information, you're just going to be like a ship at sea, just floating around for your whole life. Unless you find a direction and you're crystal clear on that direction, you're going to be lost. So that's the eight wonders of the world. The eight things that'll equip you for the world that we're heading into here. Hope you enjoyed that.